the Adult Iñupiaq Fluency Program, an Iñupiaq language initiative at Aqqaluk Trust. What if intermediate Iñupiaq fluency was possible in just 1 year? Research shows that a well-designed program can develop a language learner from a beginning to intermediate fluency in 1 year. In second language learning, intermediate fluency can often take 3 to 5 years to develop when a learner is focused only part-time on learning the language. We propose that with full-time learning and teaching in an experiential subsistence learning environment, in 1 full year, the learner's conversational usage would be very well developed, using more complex language and understanding most of the spoken language. They would still ask for some guidance and clarification, but be confident enough to teach beginner fluency learners. So, what's the plan? Aqqaluk Trust is proposing to create an adult Iñupiaq fluency program in the Nana region. What are our goals? Our primary goal is to develop more working-age adults with intermediate Iñupiaq fluency. These are our next Iñupiaq teachers, parents, and leaders who will speak and teach Iñupiaq confidently. And as we learn, we also must address the historical shame that has been associated with Iñupiaq language suppression. We have at least 2 generations of what we call silent speakers, those who grew up hearing Iñupiaq but have psychologically suppressed their ability to speak it. We Iñupiaq are experiential learners, so we'll take the language learners out of the classroom and teach them conversationally by doing hands-on traditional activities completely in Iñupiaq. This is what we know about this work. We know that these new speakers will become the Iñupiaq language leaders of this generation, and they will carry our language into the following generations. We believe this is the single most important thing we can do right now to revitalize the Iñupiaq language. But of course, there are some challenges that we face. Our last generation of living fluent speakers are already retired and elderly, and we can't afford to waste any more time strengthening our efforts to teach Iñupiaq to younger generations. Additionally, there is no current full-time adult fluency Iñupiaq program, and many adults want to learn, but find there's a lack of necessary resources, structure, and the dedicated effort required to teach true fluency. We should also take into account the following considerations. We need to consider our program sustainability. Language revitalization is a generational project. We must think of this as an opportunity that will be available until Iñupiaq is again being passed from parents to children, not as an opportunity that will only exist for a few years. This requires approaching planning with a focus on long-term sustainability, partnerships, and community support. We must also consider regional inclusion. Some of our region's strongest language and cultural skills exist in the villages. Traditional practices, skills, and seasonal cycles vary by community. Language learners likewise will have family roots in different parts of the region. The program should be designed and have sufficient resources to bring learners out to our villages in order to learn from the people living there. Moving forward effectively will also bring us to healing our past. Any major effort to teach Iñupiaq must address the very difficult times our elders experienced. The fallout of this trauma and shame had contributed to Iñupiaq language suppression with several generations. Many of our older adults who grew up hearing fluent Iñupiaq in the home want to speak it, and the language and tools are already there. They just need to work through the past and be encouraged by our speakers to Iñupiaq. Finally, we must consider financially supporting our learners. One major barrier to Iñupiaq language learning is the financial cost individual learners have. This means most current learners have to make a living doing something other than learning Iñupiaq. Other language fluency programs have hired their learners as apprentices and consider their studies as a full-time job. In order to reliably develop Iñupiaq speakers, we must provide an income to learners so they can focus for a year on learning Iñupiaq without worrying about also making a living. Ariga kuya nakpak. We hope we were able to answer many of your questions about the Iñupiaq Adult Fluency Program. We're still early in development, so we ask for your guidance, support, and blessing as we continue putting together a viable way to revitalize Iñupiaq for our people. We also thank you for all the work you've done.